The future of the automobile industry will be decided upon at the point of contact. That's the future of America's greatest and mightiest industry. Now, where is the future of that industry going to be decided? Where do you say? At the point of contact. Dean, where is the point of contact? When you first reach the prospect. Now, why is the first 10 words more important than the next 10,000? Why is words so critical? First impression? Look at this. To my knowledge, there's no way to go back and make a second good first impression. There's just no way to do it.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for watching this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the meet and greet. We'll cover several things. I'll give you a greeting that's absolutely lethal. We'll also discuss the reasons why it's as powerful as it is. How you're perceived in the first few minutes will set the tone for the rest of your time with that customer. Now, we need to establish up front that our intention is to provide service, and it's all about what they want.
If you want to sell more, what do you got to do? Serve more.
It's also important to remember that everything we do or say is intended to set us up for later on in the sales process. To begin with, our greeting should establish for the customer that they're welcome and that we are glad they came in. Just like when I opened this video, I told you what we were going to be doing and what you'd get from it. So for us to properly address the customer at the initial contact, we have to appear to have an attitude of service to them. The greeting used by most salespeople does nothing at all to further that appearance.
So what does the salesperson normally say to him when he walks out to greet him? What can I do for you? That's probably right to a certain degree. What else do they say? Can I help you? Anybody got you yet? You've been had. I mean, see, that is non-professional. Would you agree some of those introductions, some of those first 10 words could totally destroy feelings in a consumer?
Most salespeople open with something like, "Hi, how you doing? My name's Mike, and yours is?" That greeting does absolutely nothing for the customer or for us. The reality is that 15 minutes later, we're kind of scratching our heads. What was that guy's name? He's not going to remember your name either. It's not important in the greeting. It does nothing for the customer. What is important to us and to the buyer is that we must recognize all buyers of any product, cars, homes, boats, stereos, even just when you're grocery shopping, you got to make 5 small decisions before you can make the one big buying decision. Before we ever see or talk to them, they've already made 3 of these decisions. Those decisions are, number 1, they got to decide or recognize they have a need or a want. They got to figure out the thing to fill that need or want. Then they have to decide on the source from who to get the thing to fill the need or the want. Now, there's only 2 factors remaining. Anybody got a guess as to what they are? Oh, well, they're price and time. The good news for us in the car business is that our customers have made 3 of these decisions before we come in contact with them. They've decided they're going to buy a car or a truck. They've also decided on the kind of car or truck. They don't go to a Ford store to buy a Toyota. Now, they might go to a Ford store to buy a Toyota, but it would be one they saw in your lot as they drove by, or it's advertised somewhere. They've also decided they'd buy at your dealership, or they wouldn't be there. So the first 3 decisions have already been made. We only have to deal with their price and time decisions. So assume they're there to buy. Assuming customers are here to buy, and that they've made the first 3 decisions, we should formulate a greeting that addresses the remaining 2 issues and that demonstrates we're here to be of service. Remember, everything we say to the customer must come from the viewpoint of what's in it for them. Having made the first 3 decisions, the thing that's going to be foremost in their minds? Price. While driving to the dealership, they're wondering how difficult it's going to be to get that information from you. Is it going to be easy, or are they going to have to fight with you for it? Now, our greeting is going to initiate the issue of price and set up the rest of our sales process and make it appear easy. It's also going to give the impression that getting that information from us is different than getting it from anywhere else. Everything we do during our process should be done with an eye toward those things still to come. What we do in the greeting has an impact on everything that comes after. We have to set it up so that the process flows in the direction we want, to a sale and one with some gross. So our greeting goes like this. Welcome to the dealership. Thanks for coming in. What can I get you a price on today? Different.
Now you see, that's tough. That's mentally tough to do.
We've addressed the issue foremost in their mind, price. The only unique part of the deal is you, the salesperson. They can get the cars anywhere, and there are dealers in your town that will undersell you. I guarantee you that they will. Now, a unique greeting will set you apart from every other experience they've had at other dealerships. I can tell you from personal experience that this greeting will often make the customer laugh a little bit because it surprises them. It'll also put them in the mode of letting you know what they're looking for. Might be specific, a new Explorer, or general, where they detail the equipment they want. Once they do tell us what they're looking for, we need to follow it up with a statement that demonstrates we're there to provide them service and get them what they want. We also need to understand that our customers need reassurance. Just like our kids do sometimes. They need to feel they're safe, no one's going to hurt them. We're not there to trick them or take advantage of them somehow. It's because of those things, those fears, that they tell us things like, I'm just looking or I'm not buying today. It's so that they have an escape route open to them. Now you could still get that kind of response to this greeting, but not nearly as often as you would with the other way. We'll explain how to respond to those objections in another video devoted to nothing but handling objections. For now, let's just let them have their out. Put them at ease as much as possible. This greeting is one good way to do that. Once they've told us what they'd like to see, this is how we follow up to their response. Before you leave here today, I'd like to help you pick one out, get you a price on it, estimates on down and monthly, and what we can pay for your car. How's that sound? Sounds great to me. Customers' response will tell us what kind of buyer we've got. If they respond, that sounds great, we know we got a finance buyer with a trade. Also, he's given us permission to pick out a car and get him figures on it. And later on, if I was to ask him things directly, like how are you going to pay for it, you going to finance it or pay cash, you know what kind of response you'd get from that. It's why we phrase these things as statements of what we want to do for them. The implication is that I'm more interested in satisfying their needs than getting information for myself. Now, besides helping me figure out what type of buyer I have, their response essentially gets me their permission, like I said before, to go on to the next steps. They've agreed it sounds great to pick out a car and get the figures. Now, those are the two absolute requirements for any car deal. Without selection or negotiation, a deal is not going to happen. Next step then is to start building a customer profile. If they've indicated they have a trade, that's where you should go next. And the reason for that is that people are comfortable in three places: at home, at work, or in their car.
I personally try to go back to the trade-in to put the consumer in his own comfort zone, to create the right feelings by showing interest in him and what he owns.
Another salesman suggests, as a method of getting the silent type to talk, is to ask him to take you for a ride in his car. The salesman reports that it's an unusual man who can keep quiet in his own car.
So we want to get them to their car as quickly as possible, because that's where the likelihood is that they'll relax most. We're going to cover the trade evaluation and profile building in another video so we can get into more detail, but for our purposes, this is part of the greeting. To transition to the trade, we need to give them reasons for doing it. Everything we say has to come from the attitude of providing service to the customer. Remember to always be thinking, what's in it for them? Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that there were only two decisions remaining to be made, and they're centered around price and time. So the statement to transition to the trade is going to take that into account. Good. Let's start with your car. That will save you time and help us to get you the most money for it. Now, nobody's going to object to saving time and getting more money. You wouldn't, I wouldn't, they won't. So the entire greeting step goes like this. Welcome to the dealership. What can I get you a price on today? Great. We have an excellent selection of those vehicles to choose from. I can show you new in all trim levels, as well as some examples of some pre-owned cars. Before you leave here today, there's that escape route. I'd like to help you pick one out, get you a price on it, as well as estimates on down payment, monthly payment, and what we can pay for your car. How's that sound? Good. Let's start with your car. That'll save you time, help us to get you the most money for your trade. Now, each of those statements has something in it for the customer. We've hit the two remaining areas they're concerned with, price and time. Plus, we've given them an out when we said, before you leave here today. While greeting customers this way has the benefit of appearing to be all for the customer, it also gets us what we need easily and quickly. After all, it's about us being able to sell a car. Now, the way to make a fortune is find out what your customers want and then give it to them. That greeting gives them exactly what they want. The fortune's there for you to pick it up. Now, that's it for this video. Remember that you are the only unique part of the deal. Use a truly unique greeting and watch your income go right through the roof. So thanks for watching. Now go sell some cars.